Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, my name is Deva Alana. My NPM is 19-22-0346. I'm from 2019 B3. And now, I will give you explain about what is the interpreter, the historical of the interpreter, and every single information related with the interpreting and interpreter. What the definition of interpreting? Interpreting is the oral transfer of message between speakers of different languages. Interpreting is thus one of the odds of human activities, and the role of the interpreter is arguably one of the odds of the professions. Historical background: the interpreting and interpreter. The first written form of interpreting dates back to 3000 BC, at which time the ancient Egyptians had a hieroglyphic signifying interpreter. The next we all know use of interpreting occurred in ancient Greece and Rome. For both the ancient Greeks and Romans, learning the language of the people that they carried was considered very undignified. Furthermore, during the era and up until the 7th century, Latin was the lingua franca of the language of the diplomacy in Europe. Therefore, all nations had to have some citizens who spoke Latin in order to carry on diplomatic relations. Throughout the centuries, interpreting became more and more widely spread to number of factors. And the first, religion; the second, age of exploration; and the third, international labor conference in Genoa, Switzerland in 1927. However, multilingual situations do not always require interpreting for some reason. The first, for some group, individual and multilingualists, is a common feature, the notable multilingualists of Australian Aboriginal group. The second, communication problems may be overcome by use of a recognized lingua franca, generally not the mother tongue. The third, certain social groups gain multilingual skills because their particular role. Traders. And the last, where geographical boundaries are sharp, may have been little understanding of the language of others who live even a little distant way. Okay, now, type of interpreting. Type of interpreting. The first is converse interpreting, and the second is liaison interpreting. What is the meaning of converse interpreting? Converse interpreting is a significant advice for converse interpreters came immediately after World War II, when at Nuremberg war crimes trial. New technology allowed experiment with simultaneous interpreting, whereby interpreters worked from sound output and relayed their message through earphone to listener in the courtroom. Okay, the second is liaison interpreting. Liaison interpreting, it has not always been seen by converse interpreters as an area of interpreting in its own right, but rather as a residual arm of language work at peace or multilingual welfare work at wars. In the post-World War II decades, several social and economic development led to its growth. The two main areas of development were in international business context, and less spectacularly but more perceptibly, and in relations to immigrant and indigenous population who did not speak the dominant language of their society, and the difference in role and status. Just as international conference interpreters gain their status from the reflected status of the clients they serve, so do liaison interpreters in their varied work settings. The Question of status and reflect status in turn very influence how their role and contribution are understood. Prevailing social and institutional norm will strongly affect the way in which interpreters' function is understood. I will give you in summary also. The development in lesson interpreting has been subject to two very influential forces that continue to determine its status and the understanding of its role. The whole field of lesson interpreting has been profoundly influenced by its own social settings of minority or majority relationships, identification with minorities and minority interests, and broader status issues. The material about interpreting interpreter, that's all enough. Thank you for your attention and thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Bye. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.